Welcome back to the Ponzi Papers, artifacts from the Doomsday cult. The Ponzi Papers are written by Max Azzarello, investigative journalist, who posted this online January 8th, 2024. Too long? Didn't read? We're in a cult. If you're just tuning into this series, I posted this booklet alleging the wildest totalitarian conspiracy imaginable with a map to a sea of proof. The big picture? Cryptocurrency is history's largest Ponzi scheme that will soon collapse the world economy. Also, the U.S. government and their criminal allies can escalate the theft of our entire livelihoods with a fascist world coup. This con is many decades in the making. We have been flooded with media intentionally designed to make us scared, anxious, apathetic, bitter, angry, partisan, apathetic, hopeless, and misguided. That means we're effectively in history's largest doomsday cult, which is why the entire public knows the country is not in a good place. But nobody believes we have the power to change our circumstances, because we've been told that was the case over and over again. In this post, we will look at the smattering of the doomsday cult evidence right in front of us. A supervillain reveals the plan. Bill Casey was director of the CIA under Ronald Reagan from 1981 to 1987. According to Barbara Honegger, an election committee member for Reagan's campaign, Casey said the following in 1981. "We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false." Most people's understanding of government disinformation would be that they want to misdirect us about certain things, to spin geopolitical events to convince us that they're the good guys. But here Casey admits a much more wretched goal, to misdirect us about everything. To have such a stranglehold on media disinformation that our entire lives become a lie. What he describes is nothing short of a totalitarian cult in which the leaders monopolize and weaponize the flow of information to deceive the public entirely. And if you've been following this series, you already know that it has come to fruition. They tell us we're stuck in a hell world, and they make certain that it's true while they bleed us dry. Irony poisoned death water. Want to stare the doomsday cult in the face? Just head down to your local convenience store and check out our water selection. There, you'll likely see a case of liquid death, sparkling water. This is water. Water is liquid life. The fact that water, something we all need to survive, has been bottled up and sold to us at unbelievable markups is evidence of kleptocracy. The fact that we now have water called liquid death shows us just how far this criminal disinformation campaign has come, as they've convinced the public to pay money for water that evokes hopelessness and death. Water called liquid death is ironic, of course, but irony has been one of our cult leaders' most powerful tools. As David Foster Wallace noted in a fantastic essay on the matter, irony is singularly unuseful when it comes to constructing anything to replace the hypocrisies it debunks. Irony highlights problems with no solutions. It lets us have a cathartic laugh at our circumstances, but reinforces them all the same. When we're flooded with irony, as you'll find in countless social media bubbles, we lose space for earnestness, honesty, and action. In the words of essayist Lewis Hyde, irony has only emergency use, carried over time. It is the voice of the trapped who have come to enjoy their cage. "You're in hell world," says Palm Wonderful. Think about what an ad for pomegranate juice might look like. Maybe a fit, attractive woman extolling its health virtues, or a bright and cheery display, or its great taste. Now look at this Instagram ad for Palm Wonderful. A photo of what is a gym with dark lights on or black lights on, and you can see handprints and sweat stains all over the gym with the words, "Real life is scary. Protect yourself from free radicals with Palm." This ad for pomegranate juice evokes horror, helplessness, and existential dread. If you watch the ad, you'll see it's even more haunted, flashing the blacklight imagery at you like a jump scare in a horror movie. Real life is scary, it declares. Germs in the gym will kill you, it tells us. You're only safe in Hell World if you buy this juice. Note that there is no irony here, no joke, wink, or punchline, just an ad for pomegranate juice telling us to be horrified or terrified of life. That's because we're in a cult. The most uncanny meme of the rabbit hole. When I was deep in the rabbit hole, I had uncovered a few things. Cryptocurrency was a planetary Ponzi scheme created and supported by countless people and companies in Peter Thiel's orbit, and there was a sea of complicit talking heads from both parties who were lying about every word. Just like professional wrestlers, they were practicing kayfabe, playing a part to sell a fiction to the public in order to divide and misdirect us. And then I found this meme in the subreddit Thiel Watch, which references Thiel's data surveillance company, Palantir. And here we have a young female screaming at a young male disinterested at a rave or concert. And it says, Palantir controls both parties. They're rolling out the COVID vaccine and funding anti-vax podcasts. They're gay and homophobic. They're for immigrants and against immigration. It's called kayfabe, a performative, controlled opposition technique to implement technocratic biofascism. Wouldn't you know it? I had spent countless hours digging through investor lists and SEC filings to come to this conclusion, and then I found a meme that said the same exact thing. This isn't to say that Palantir is pulling all the strings. They're pulling the strings along with all the other cult leaders, including whoever made this meme. To understand why they would ever put this out in the open, we turn to the masterful propaganda technique that we've all been victims of. The theory of bullshit developed by Princeton philosopher Harry Frankfurt. The liar cares about the truth and attempts to hide it. The bullshitter doesn't care if what they say is true or false. You may recognize that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are notorious bullshitters. They tell the truth and lies nonstop. And when we get a sea of talking heads all bullshitting in different directions, we don't know which way is up. We've all heard about how we're in post-truth America, echoing CIA Director Casey's quote above, and the theory of bullshit helped get us there. Now let's turn to the final words of the meme. To implement technocratic biofascism. As previously discussed, we're about to get an apocalyptic false flag attack where our criminal leaders want us to think that society is lost forever. This is the Doomsday portion of our Doomsday cult. But just like everything else that they tell us, they're lying through their teeth. They're not done working us to death. They just want us paralyzed with fear so they can pivot to a fascist state without resistance. Luckily for us, you know the truth. You know they're lying. You know they're helpless and hopeless. That's just what cult leaders told us our entire lives. You know a united movement to abolish this rotten farce forever kicked off months ago, and you know you're already part of it. You know the emperor has no clothes. Well, thanks, Max, for another great article. As a criticism, I really wish he was going to present more evidence. The idea that we're in a doomsday cult because people like liquid death, I have a hard time grasping or agreeing with because my understanding of human culture throughout all ages has always had an element of society which is interested in the memento mori culture of remembering your mortality, remember you're going to die. So having skulls around to remember your mortality so you can live life to the fullest is a very old Stoic thought that exists in a lot of cultures and isn't necessarily proof that anyone's planning to kill you or wants everybody dead. It's just acknowledging that that is exactly the plan laid out before us. Whether we like it or not, we are all going to die. And I would have liked more evidence from Max. So it's really great. We've only got a couple more of his articles left coming, and I've been thinking a lot about what I want to do with his channel and his work afterwards. And I think what I'd like to do is take a crack at rewriting all of his articles into one cohesive piece and trying to put it together as a cohesive theory. If you think that's something of interest to you, let me know in the comments or hit the like button or something to give me a little clue on this particular episode that that's something you would find worthwhile, and I'll put the effort in. Thank you, and I'll see you all at the next episode.